I don't know about you, but I often find weddings very strange in the sense of, when you go, and then particularly in this modern era now, where people invite so many people, and you think, really, do you know all of these people? You know the sort of thing I mean, chums? In the old days, and I don't mean that in the ancient times, of course, but people just invited their friends, didn't they? And it was a family, it was a celebration, and everything was done on the norm, as it were. When you think about it and you look at, say, the former royals known as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, I think the worst catastrophe of their royal wedding was not the orchestrated reality that they claimed it was, but was the fact that George Clooney and his wife Amal basically said they trotted along because he got an invite. I mean, you kind of think, what, you've won the lottery, so you just come for the free meal and a Google at the Queen or whatever. It's just odd, isn't it? And I think for me, that just literally pricked the pomposity of exactly what Harry and Meghan's wedding was all about. But there was one man involved, and now apparently, according to a very well-placed source, they're deciding which side of the camp it's going to be, where he remains. As ever, let me explain. Morning, chums, nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me in the very heart of London, as always. Out and about filming on the streets, giving you some atmosphere. I like to move around. People say to me, why do you film out and about? Why not in the studio? Why not get out? And I've often said this on the show, that for those that can't get out, and there are a few, we've all had those moments when you're recovering from something or you just are not as mobile as you used to be, you know what I mean? The thing is, it's nice to be able to see something different, isn't it? I think, I told you earlier, it made me laugh with the ABC, Good Morning America, moving their studio from Times Square to somewhere in downtown Manhattan. And I thought, you can't tell a difference, what's the point? The thing that I enjoyed about ABC and NBC was when they did stuff outside. Do you remember? Concerts and pop stars and stuff. That was a lot more fun. Everything's now, well, kind of boring, isn't it, to be honest? Do you know what I mean? I hope that you enjoy the fact that I get out and about. I know sometimes it can be a little bit loud and noisy, but that's filming literally live up and down the United Kingdom and in the very heart of London. Back to your royal story of the day. Man created a bit of a buzz recently, didn't he? Idris Elba. That's right, because he's now teamed up with none other than His Majesty the King, King Charles III, for a forthcoming documentary which is going to be streamed on the streaming giant Netflix, right? And everybody knows the reason why that's a little bit rocky, because of course, as I pointed out, the bottom line is Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are not exactly priority stars anymore for Netflix. If you have success, that's great. Polo, ginormous flop. With Love Meghan, whatever it's called, as ever, a huge flop. Ted can spin it any way he wants. It didn't pull in the numbers, right? But according to a very well-placed source, Prince Harry, no doubt goaded on by his wife, the former cable TV actress Meghan Markle, well, he's reached out to Idris Elba. What's the connection? Well, you will remember that Idris was the deck spinner, the DJ, the disco king, at their royal wedding. In fact, he was personally picked out by both Harry and Meghan. Well, I would just say Harry. I mean, Meghan wouldn't know who he was, but consequently might have fitted the, remit. You get the picture. Now, what's interesting here is that obviously this is proving a little bit touchy, and as ever, I have to say allegedly. So far, it would appear that Idris has been a little too busy to return calls. That's showbiz, right? And the thing is, there's no way that he would want to rock the boat by either being pictured or having a phone call leaked with the former chums. That's not to say he doesn't want to be friendly with both sides. I met Idris, I've interviewed him on a couple of occasions on red carpets. Lovely man, very down to earth. Him and his wife are nice people, just easygoing, nice to talk to, no pretentious, He's a lovely man, so I can see why he doesn't want to get involved intertwining. Either way though, clearly Prince Harry sensing an opportunity to either connect or indeed maybe some people might suggest as ever allegedly skewer, well, odd after all these years, isn't it, to suddenly find that they want to get in touch. Was this the man that Harry was knocking on doors for? Who knows? But either way, it's a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.